This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotatonetwork.com.
Watching television, watching television. Watching television, watching television. I need all the image, I need all the sound. I know the info right into my mind.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Trial by Pilot. This is the show where we judge an entire series of television and the work of hundreds on one episode. I'm Bill Lynch.
I'm Elizabeth Lynch.
And today we're talking about Only Murders in the Building on Hulu.
On Hulu. Yeah, so what does this title mean?
We find out.
Like, is it, these are the only murders in the building? Or is it only murders in this building?
I hope not that second one, if they're trying to up the rent.
Yeah, right?
I don't want to pay more if I'm going to get murdered.
Well, you might not.
At least give me a... Well, if there's only murders in the building...
Yeah, it's like just, yeah, you're right.
Then yeah, you're going to get murdered.
So in this show, we've got an all-star cast.
All-star.
Steve Martin, of course, paired up with Martin Short. The best pairing.
Have they worked together before?
Oh my gosh, yes. Father of the Bride. Have you not seen Father of the Bride?
Maybe I did like 20 years ago.
Oh my God.
But I was being facetious. I know they've worked together.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway. I was like, are you dumb?
17?
No, but maybe the 17-year-olds would appreciate Selena Gomez. Or maybe not. Oh no, she's got hits.
Yeah.
But like, I appreciate her because I loved her on... Like, I'm not a huge fan of her music, I will be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I really loved Wizards of Waverly Place. And I think I watched it when I was babysitting or something. And so then I would like occasionally just watch it when I was not babysitting because I was very impressed by her acting. Like, I thought she was funny. Like, I thought she had like really good comedic timing and good delivery. And I was like, why doesn't everybody else think she's the best? And then she started this like, you know, music career, which like whatever. It's fine, but I just really like her acting. So
I mean, that's what she's best known as. A singer, right?
A singer. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I think at this point.
Yeah, Wizards of Waverly Place went off the air almost a decade ago. So,
oh, wow.
So even if you were a kid watching that, you're like probably in college or out of college.
Yeah.
By now. Do you know how old she is, Selena Gomez?
She's probably in her late 20s.
Yeah, 29.
At this point? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Remember when you saw her?
Yes. I saw her in a mall while she was dating Justin Bieber.
Yeah. In Philadelphia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quite a rush.
Wow.
Yeah, I tried to get her autograph.
We were in Philadelphia for a wedding, and I was in the wedding, and so Bill was out like killing time with like the other partners, the partners of the other bridesmaids, basically. Mm-hmm. And we got texts from you guys that you guys saw Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. We were like, oh my God, where? Like, we wanted all the details. Like, they were buying ice cream or something. And there weren't really any details. So we were like, do they have a picture? Like,
yeah, we saw them and then we left. That's pretty much it.
I was like, you might as well not even tell us. God.
I think we saw like somebody go up to them and they like talked to them, but didn't seem like that excited about it.
Yeah.
So we were like,
not. Anyway, that's who's in the cast of this.
Yes. I'm trying to think of any of the other side characters if they like looked familiar, but not really. Mm-mm. I mean, we spent 99% of the episode with these three.
Yeah.
So it starts off with a SWAT team running through this apartment building with their guns drawn. And Steve Martin, Charles in the show, and Oliver, played by Martin Short, are like panicked, running through a hall and down a stairwell. And they run into this room and find Mabel, played by Selena Gomez, hunched over a woman with like a bloody wound, and Mabel's covered in blood. And she goes, "It's not what you think." And then we flash back to 2 months earlier. And it had like a fun little title sequence, like animated. Mm-hmm. I thought for some reason this was based on a book or something, but I think it's just an original piece.
Possible. Isn't everything?
No, that's why I was surprised.
Right.
So 2 months earlier, we meet our three characters as they're out walking in New York City. Charles gets recognized by someone as Brazos, who used to play like some detective on TV. Mabel has these dreams of brutally murdering an intruder to her apartment every night. And Oliver is a playwright and director, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah. He's like walking through Manhattan with like a giant purple coat and long scarf.
Yeah.
That kind of a theater guy. So they all live in this apartment building, and so they all happen to get on the elevator, sharing it as they go up. And a fourth guy joins them briefly. He's well dressed, but complaining on the phone about not getting a package. And we see that he's carrying a plastic bag, like a garbage bag, very oddly.
Right.
But he gets off, and then Oliver tries to like engage with the other two, but Charles like knows him and clearly thinks he's very annoying, doesn't want anything to do with him. And Mabel just like has her headphones on, just like stays to herself in the corner. But then when they all get into their individual apartments, they start listening to the same true crime podcast, which was really funny. It was like a well done satire.
Yeah.
Like, it was like Serial-esque, with Liz Lemon narrating. And Liz Lemon narrating Tina Fey.
Tina Fey.
And then we see that character, it's like a cutaway of what this story is telling.
Right.
And she's like down by some creek with this guy and his dog, and the dog starts digging, and suddenly the dog turns around and in its mouth is, and then the fire alarm in the building goes off.
Right.
So it's left as this big cliffhanger. And so the three of them meet up again at a restaurant.
Wait.
Okay.
Just something that didn't really come up again in this episode. But as they're all running down the stairwell into, out to the street, everybody's running down the stairwell.
Yes.
Steve Martin's character turns around and notices someone in like a white, like coveralls kind of, like,
yeah.
it was like a full like white suit. Like covering his whole body.
Plasticky.
Yeah, like if you were gonna like paint something or something,
Right.
it was like covering.
Like
right.
not like full on like pandemic.
It wasn't like hazmat.
Right.
But it was like a full like covering his clothes and hair outfit.
Yeah.
Running, but I don't think you could see his face. I can't remember. But
couldn't.
anyway, he's running up, and so you see Steve Martin's character kind of turn and like look like,
Where's that guy going?
where's that? Why is he going that way? But like, it didn't. Like, he never, like, mentions it again in this episode. So I have a feeling like that's going to come back. Like, he's going to remember that. But, like,
Yeah.
we don't anyway. Well, I'm just saying you didn't mention it here. And I think that that's, like, an important clue.
Yeah. It was
Listen.
foreshadowing something.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
God. All right.
You tend to skip around.
What? I tend to skip things. I don't skip around. And then that was the end of the episode. And then going back, they all meet up at the same restaurant.
I was like, wait, no.
Just skipping around. So they all, they go into this restaurant one by one, and they all realize that they all love this podcast. And so they don't really connect on like any other level. Like
Right.
Oliver's like trying to talk about their personal lives, and the other two like want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But they're all really into this mystery.
They want to know what's in the dog's mouth.
Yeah. And so they're walking back, and they find out that someone in the building killed themselves. And so the police outside say, like, you can't go in. But Charles knows how to get to the freight elevator. And so they sneak up to, like, the 8th floor, and the suicide was on the 9th floor. So they sneak up, and they end up seeing the guy, and it was the one in the elevator.
Right.
That they saw, like, an hour ago. And so now a detective comes out and like, are you related? Like, why are you here? And she tells them like, listen, it's a clear-cut suicide. He had gun residue on his hands, financial problems, but the three of them don't buy it. They're like, listen, we just saw this guy. He was not acting like someone that wanted to kill himself. So that night, Charles and Mabel...
Well, and the cop's giving them shit. She's like, oh, what podcast are you guys into? Like,
Yeah.
She's so sick of these, like, backseat detectives kind of, like, thinking they know her job.
Yeah, justifiably so.
Right.
I'm sure. But that night, Charles and Mabel both like realize that he was carrying this trash bag and going up rather than like putting his trash in any of the chutes that he passed.
Yeah.
So like, what was in it? And so Oliver, you know, the doors open again and Oliver's there like, oh, were you guys thinking the same thing? And they're like, trash bag. And he's like, oh, no, not the same thing. But they all go down to the garbage room in the basement. And Oliver starts recording them like, we should start our own true crime podcast. But Mabel finds the trash bag, and in it, it has notes with like very, you know, last note pre-suicide-y kind of thoughts written out on them.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, I guess that's it. There was no foul play. It really was a suicide. Doesn't quite sit right with them. And the next day, Mabel hears a neighbor through one of her vents and remembers hearing this guy complain that she had been getting his packages. Mabel's neighbor had been getting this guy's packages.
Right.
And that he's like been waiting for one. So she's thinking like this neighbor must still have this guy's package. So she and Charles are out in the hallway as he is picking the lock after the neighbor leaves. And, you know, he goes into why he's been alone for 28 years in this building. You know, him and his dad were so similar, and his dad was a shitty husband. He never wanted to be, so he's just stayed alone.
Right.
And she talks about how she's never been alone. She always had this like pack of friends. But recently they haven't been around, and she's been thinking maybe being alone is the best thing for me.
Yeah.
So they start
call
to
themselves the Hardy Boys.
Yeah. So they start to open up to each other a little bit, and they get inside the apartment. And as Charles is like laying out this search plan, because Charles has been in the building for a long time, has blueprints to every floor, like knows the layout of every building. Like, all right, this is a 1A, this is a 1C.
So weird.
So yeah. So you take these 3 rooms to the left, I'll take these 3 rooms to the right. And Mabel's like, look under your hand. And he's like leaning on the table where the package is. It's like right there. So they bring it up to the roof and open it to find an engagement ring.
And they're like, who's going to kill themselves when they're about to propose?
Exactly.
This doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Oliver is spending the day at his son's house. He says he's going to see his grandkids, but they're away. But it's really just an excuse for him to ask his son for more money.
Right.
And it's not the first time he's done this, apparently. And the son's like, listen, I can't do it again. Like, you have to sell the apartment in the city. And Oliver's like, I can't. That's who I am. It's the most important thing to me. And the son's like, wow, thanks.
Yeah.
Dick. And so...
Yeah, that's like all ego.
Yeah, yeah.
Which sucks.
And so he's leaving as he gets a text from the other two saying what they found. And so he gets excited, like, you know, they're back into this mystery. And then there's like a strange sequence where each of them gets a scene where they bounce something or themselves off the floor. Like, that sounds so strange. Like,
yeah.
Oliver is up on the porch and like, you know, he's just like light as a feather. So he just like falls backwards off the porch and like just bounces off the ground and goes back up on the porch. And then Mabel has the ring and just like bounces it off the floor, and we like see it bounce in slow-mo. And then Charles is cooking an egg and bounces the frying pan off the floor and catches it in slow-mo. He makes an omelet every day and then tosses it out.
Yeah. It's interesting, like, in the beginning, not Charles, who's the other one? Oliver is talking about, like, how, like, people in the city, we like, fall down and, like, bounce back up again, because he had, like, seen some movie or some piece of art or something of someone, like, walking up these stairs and falling down and getting up. So they kind of, like, show that visual of someone falling down and getting up. So when he falls off the stairs, it's kind of, like, calling back to that visual. Oh. And then they had the other two do it also, like, in a different way. It was interesting. Like, I didn't think it was, like, a weird, like, why are they doing that? That's an odd choice. Like, I thought it kind of, like, fit with...
I mean, I was fine with it. It was just took me by surprise. Yeah. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It wasn't that kind of show up until then. And so they're back at it. They're back trying to solve this mystery. And so they start recording a podcast with Charles narrating. And Oliver, like, all 3 of them are in there, and Oliver's suggesting, like, hey, you know, there was another murder in the park last night. Maybe we do 2 podcasts. And Charles was like, no, only murders in the building.
Oh, I missed.
You really just got that now?
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't think, how did I not hear him say that? That's really funny.
I don't know. He stressed it a lot. That's why I couldn't make out your tone at the beginning of this podcast episode that we're recording.
I really didn't get it.
Only murders in the building.
I could have have played that off cool that I knew, but I just really...
Yeah, that wasn't going to work. And so as we hear his narration about people's secrets, and sometimes it's easier to search for other people's secrets than to deal with your own, we see the three of them again, and we see Oliver looking over his debt on his computer, and we find out Charles has been lying about being alone for 28 years, which, like, obviously...
Yeah.
So the omelet is for his ex-wife or his deceased wife?
Yeah.
One of his neighbors says something like, "Oh, how's she doing? I miss her." So, like, he either lied about it or maybe they're divorced.
Right.
And then finally we see Mabel's apartment, and we see a photo of her pack of friends, the Hardy Boys, and it zooms in, and one of the four is Tim, the victim of this probable murder.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
gotta say, she plays it off pretty cool that she doesn't know him.
Even though they were on the elevator together, but I guess she had, like, glasses on and big
No,
headphones.
I think she knew that it was him.
But did he know it was her?
No.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And that was the pilot too. Only Murders in the Building. What did you think?
I loved it. I love it. I love this kind of thing. This is great. This is like a great murder mystery.
Oh my gosh. Really enunciating great.
It's great. Yeah, I'm into it. Super into it. What did you think?
Yeah, it was really fun. Obviously, Martin Short and Steve Martin are fantastic. I mean, Selena Gomez was good too. They did more like... She was very, like, reserved.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of quiet and subtle. So we'll see what else they give her to work with. But Martin and Short were both great. I mean, it was funny, great parody of the true crime genre with the podcast and everything. Yeah, and I'm intrigued by what the heck's going on. And
Yeah.
clearly there's going to be at least one more murder in this building.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what else did you think?
I'm just excited. I mean, like, I'm excited to keep watching it. I'm definitely going to recommend it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is weekly release. Yeah, it's weekly release, and there's 10 episodes.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah,
That'll keep us, that gives us a little time. We don't feel like we need to finish it right now. We'll watch it every week.
yeah, they're all 30 minutes, I think, which is nice. Created by Steve Martin and John Hoffman, who's a actor, screenwriter, director, producer.
Okay.
But yeah, it is an original creation.
It's good because we need it to fit into the other things that we haven't finished watching yet. You know,
Yeah, Reservation Dogs.
we're in the middle of Reservation Dogs. We finished The Chair. We gave up on Dr. Death.
Yeah, Reservation Dogs is also weekly release on Hulu, right?
Oh, maybe that's why we're going through it so slowly.
Yeah.
Though there's probably a couple out now. I feel like we could watch a couple in a row.
We have at least one more.
Oh, okay.
Maybe two. But yeah, at some point we were only one behind because we watched, like, I don't know, two a night.
So then we're not that far behind then, because if those are weekly releases, we finished The Chair. What else were we going to watch? Lupin?
Yeah.
Lupin?
I think that's it, yeah.
That's it. Oh my gosh, I never thought I'd see the day.
Don't worry, there's a bunch of shows coming back in the fall.
Ugh, I'm getting anxiety.
Sex Education comes back in September.
Yes.
Yeah, the show's great.
So good.
In October, Lock and Key comes back.
Oh, good. I was waiting for Lock and Key. So dumb.
Next week, we will have our Ted Lasso and Emmy preview. So we'll do the pilot to Ted Lasso and then talk a little bit about the Emmys.
You know, our limited knowledge of the Emmys in general.
Yeah, there's a few categories where we've seen most of the shows, and then other categories where we've seen none. So that's the way it is. So we would both recommend this show, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think it'll get a second season on Hulu?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely.
I think so. Do you know what the deal is with Steve Martin? I saw, like, some headline, like, why he stopped acting for so long and why he's back now. But I didn't actually read it.
Oh, okay. No,
I guess he hasn't been in stuff for a while.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and read that.
You'll have to Google it.
He was writing. I feel like he was writing for a while.
Yeah.
Like I've read some of his short stories and stuff.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's the article.
Maybe. I'm kind of like, I like how I'm assuming that he and Martin Short both live in New York. I could be wrong about that, but they both really seem like
old New York
New York
actors.
types. Yeah. Like even that hat that Steve Martin is wearing in the beginning, there's something that's like, yeah, these two definitely live in that building and they're definitely bachelors and they definitely like wear those glasses.
Do you think wardrobe was just his clothes?
Probably. So I don't actually know where they reside, but
Yeah.
I buy it that they live there.
Yeah, no, I would venture a guess that they do.
And
Selena
they go
Gomez
out and they're like, they spend a Sunday like strolling around. They get like, you know, a cup of coffee and maybe a bagel, and then they go and buy a piece of art. And then they sit in the park, you know?
Sounds all right. Sounds all right.
Yeah. What do you want to do when we retire? Can we do that?
I don't want to live in this. Yeah. There was some scene in this, actually, I think it was the show, where they were like looking out their window, like over the city out of this, like, you know, nice apartment that they were in. I was like, oh, that'd be cool, except I don't want to actually live in a city.
Yeah.
Just dealing with like sirens while I'm trying to sleep. That's the biggest thing, I think.
Is that really your biggest hang? That's your biggest hang up?
I'd never get any sleep. It's too loud.
Yeah, but you could just get like noise canceling headphones. Or there are so many remedies.
You think I could sleep with headphones on?
Listen, I think you need to just try a solution for more than one night to decide whether or not you like it. I think you need to give things a try.
Listen, I have my solution. I just run a 40-year-old fan that's clearly starting to die and fall apart.
Yeah.
Will one day explode while we're sleeping. And that seems to work okay.
The other night, you guys, listeners, I gotta tell you this. The other night, Bill left the window open in our bedroom.
This is a huge deal, guys.
It was a huge deal. I love sleeping with the windows open, and it was a cool night. And was it raining?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it was raining. And, like, it just sounded... Oh, my God. It was heaven. I had, like, the best sleep ever. But at one point, I guess I, like, rolled over and woke up. And I'm like, Bill, are you asleep? Are you still awake? Like, he had not fully, like... All the things that he needs to do before he goes to sleep weren't done. Like, the window was open. So were the blinds. The fan was not on, and he still had his shirt on. So I was like, are you, and he was like not really like laying in the right position. I'm like, are you okay? Like, I feel like he was like not fully like committing to sleep yet, but he left that window open all night, even after I said that.
I thought I closed it at some point. No?
You left it all night.
Wow. Amazing.
It was wonderful.
It'll never happen again.
I know. No, we did talk about, because, you know, in our old place, it was like noisier. It was like a parking lot kind of below us with like lots of different, you know, and we lived in a condo building. So there were like the stairs and people like coming in and out. And there was like a dumb speed bump that was always there. So cars would go over it. Where we live now, like our road is very, very quiet.
Yeah.
It's like not a busy street. So at night, like, everyone's asleep. There aren't people, like, coming in and out at all hours.
Yeah,
it's different. Yeah. So I feel like we can revisit that again.
Perhaps. But also, the sun comes up right outside my window, like, in the direction that my face...
this is why you need an eye mask.
But I can't sleep with an eye mask on. It's not comfortable.
I will find you a comfortable one.
And so at 5 o'clock in the morning, the sun shoots me in the eyeballs.
Don't get married, okay?
All right, everybody. If you have suggestions on shows for us to watch, you can email us at trialbypilot@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at trialbypilot. And please go on to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, subscribe to the show, leave a review, and tell a friend.
And thank you to the Beats for providing our theme music.
Thanks, Beats.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Watching television, watching television. Watching television.